Hi, I'm Angelina Anna,
I'm Anna Bailey.
and we are going to be talking about sleeping patterns. Our topic and purpose. Our topic is about sleeping patterns. Sleeping habits are extremely important to daily life functions. The amount of sleep we get can determine our ability to function well. Some of these functions include cognitive skills, decision making skills, problem solving skills, emotions, attention spans, and creativity. Our purpose was to analyze the way sleeping patterns affect daily life and discover what type of sleeping patterns allowed for the most efficiency in our daily life activities. Some of these include work, school, mental health, and relationships. Creating the survey. Our questions were designed to analyze sleeping habits prior to sleep, analyze sleeping habits during sleep, examine how sleep patterns affect our overall well-being, and we focused on different types of questions as well. This includes general questions about sleeping habits and questions that gear toward a specific demographic. For example, those with sleep disorders. Our collaboration process. We communicated via Discord to discuss our question formulation and survey creation. We worked with each other to create a sample survey interview schedule in order to finalize questions for our actual survey in Qualtrics. When creating questions, one focused on specific questions while the other focused on more general questions. Our survey structure. In order to get the most relevant results for our findings, we use a mixture of single choice, multiple choice, short answers, and rating scales. The Likert scales were frequent ways to answer our questions. The Likert scales we used in our survey gave our respondents choices of and in between two specific answers. You can see what this means as we go over our survey questions. Most of our questions were also how questions, as we believe that how questions were more open-minded and offered more input. Our what questions asked for more factual information from our respondents. Responses. We had a total of 42 respondents, although most questions had 30 respondents, while some had around 27. Question 1. How many hours of sleep do you get every night? 19 of our respondents responded with 6 to 8 hours, 8 responded with less than 5 hours, and 3 responded with more than 8 hours. Question 2. What time do you usually go to sleep? 21 responded with 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. 5 responded with 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. 3 responded with before 9 p.m. and 1 responded with after 3 a.m. How often do you wake up during the night? 14 responded with sometimes, 1 or 2 times per week. 8 responded with often, 2 to 4 times per week. 6 responded with always, 5 plus times per week. And 2 responded with never. Question 4. How often do you feel tired throughout the day? 18 responded with sometimes. 7 responded with often. 3 responded with always. And 2 responded with never. How consistent is your sleep schedule? 15%, which is 50% of our respondents, responded with consistent. 6 responded with somewhat consistent. 4 responded with inconsistent. 3 responded with very consistent. And 2 responded with very inconsistent. This is an example of the Likert scale, as you can see the answers that we used. Question 6. If you don't get enough sleep, what is the cause? Select all that applies to you. 13 responded with school. 14 responded with work. 15 responded with mental health. 4 responded with extracurricular activities. 10 responded with technology. And 13 responded with others. Respondents were able to choose multiple answers for this, so keep that in mind. Question 6 continued. These were the answers that people put when they chose the others. And some of these are trying to delay responsibilities in the morning, firefighter/medic, wake up at night for calls, health, bladder issues, being a stay-at-home mom to 3 kids, breathing issues, family and bills, back pain, childcare, stress, baby, and life. You can see there's a recurring, um, you can see there are recurring themes here, which are work, health issues, and family, and also mental health, which is stress and all that. Question 7. How do these causes affect your sleep schedule? Please answer in detail below. These we had many responses, but these were the ones that correlated more with the themes that we kept seeing repeated. Some of these are: I have a hard time putting down my phone / TV. Correlates with technology. I don't get much sleep because of it. I'm always tired. People do not get enough sleep because of it. More work, more stress. I can usually get back on track right away. However, it does ruin my ability to function the next day. This answer kind of contradicts what we're trying to find, especially since they said they can get back on track, but it does ruin their ability to function the next day. So people can, so it doesn't really affect them to the point where it'll, like, they can't get back on track, but it can affect them in some way too. The baby wakes up every 2 hours. Don't get enough sleep. I'm always on call and expected to show up to work when they call, then expected to still show up on time for my shift. We had many respondents explaining how their work causes them to affect their sleep schedule. Question 8. If your sleep pattern is related to your screen time, like your TV, phone, computer, etc., what is your average screen time per day? 20 responded with less than 5 hours, 8 responded with 6 to 8 hours, and 2 responded with more than 8 hours. How often do you use electronics before going to bed? 12 responded with always, 10 responded with sometimes, and 6 responded with often, and 2 responded with never. Do you use anything, melatonin, white noise, etc., to fall asleep? 16 responded with never, 8 responded with yes sometimes, and 6 responded with yes often.
Question 11. Do you have any sleep disorders? This is including insomnia, narcolepsy, and more. 5 of our respondents responded yes, while 25 responded no. Question 12. How has your sleep pattern affected your performance in school, whether good or bad? We had many responses, but we picked out the ones that were repeating to show the most data. So some of our responses included: it doesn't affect it at all. No, I prioritize school, which is why I waited until my kids were older to return to studies. Good. Even though I don't get as much sleep as I should, I still attempt to do good in school. It's mid. Yes, for sure, because I always feel so tired when I would be at school and wanting to nap during class and study. I am used to 4 to 6 hours of sleep daily. If I get 7 hours or more, I actually feel tired and unmotivated. Bad getting off to a light start has kept me from sleeping. Sometimes if I go to sleep late, I will be super tired during lectures, causing me to not focus as much. Question 13. How much has your sleep pattern caused your relationships with others to be negatively affected? We had 8 respondents say somewhat negatively. We had 17 say neither positive nor negative, and we had 5 say somewhat positive. Question 14. How has your current sleep pattern affected your mental well-being? Once again, we included mostly the repeating answers because that showed that our respondents were feeling the same way, and so we thought that this would lead us to more of a conclusion. So some of the responses were: badly, when I'm tired, I'm very irritable, not at all, more consistency might help balance mood and stress, always feeling deprived of sleep and stressed. I'm in a good mental space, somewhat. I've grown used to not sleeping, good. It can make me temporarily depressed when I don't sleep well. Sometimes, if I do not have enough sleep, I will be depressed and anxious, and I sometimes feel tired and more agitated. So, some things we can gather from here is that mental health is one of the biggest contributors to lack of sleep and poor sleeping habits in general. Question 15. If your sleep pattern has not affected your performance in school, your relationships, or your well-being, what are some things besides your sleep pattern that has helped you? Please be detailed in your response. Some of our responses included keeping an organized schedule, time management, prioritizing obligations and relationships properly, routine daily, taking a break for myself, my drive to accomplish things, eating healthy, reading, exercising, eating healthy. I have an extremely supportive family, exercise, drinking water before bed, eating at a good time, or being organized and planning. As we can see, a lot of these answers were similar, and a lot of them are saying that outside factors would help them help their poor sleep schedules or their mental health in general, and a lot of them are outside factors such as getting rid of stressors or eating healthy and reading. Question 16. If your sleep pattern has affected your performance in school, your relationships, and your well-being, what changes have you done to improve your sleeping pattern? The responses were go to bed earlier, alarms, small breaks throughout the day, go to sleep earlier, no technology before bed, I tried to not use cell phones before I sleep, finish homework early, request less hours at work, or taking melatonin. Question 17. How effective have these changes been for you? As you can see, we have the majority of our answers being moderately effective. Most of our answers are skewed to the less effective side, as you can see. So we had 4 say it was very effective, 3 say extremely effective, 10 somewhat effective, 7 slightly effective, and 4 say not effective at all. Question 18. What would be the biggest reason preventing you from improving your sleep patterns? Some of our answers included getting old, not being able to get rest, not enough hours in a day, work, getting home late, more than 8 hours makes me tired, my phone, too much stuff to do, family and bills, nose problems, overthinking, and family. Question 19. How committed would you be if you were to try to improve your sleeping patterns? As you can see, the majority of our respondents said that they are very committed to improving their sleeping patterns, with 12 answering this. We had 9 people answer moderately committed. We had 7 say somewhat committed, and then 2 respondents said that they are not committed at all. For our analysis, we split this up into our initial findings, midpoint findings, and end findings. So our initial findings included, through these responses, we found that most respondents received the recommended 6 to 8 hours of sleep. They were also consistent when it came to the time that they slept, the amount of times they woke up during the night, and how often they felt tired throughout the day. A highlight is that 50% of our respondents were consistent with their sleep schedule. Our midpoint findings are, we can see from the results that mental health was the top reason why most people did not get enough sleep. Work, family, and health issues were also some other specific factors that prevented a decent sleep schedule. The majority of respondents did not have any sleep disorders, which further points that what actually causes bad sleeping habits most likely comes from what was formally stated, which means mental health, work, family, etc. Continuing with our midpoint findings, we found that further reports find that these would affect our respondents' sleep schedules by forming stress, losing sleep, getting their sleeps interrupted with work and family, and struggle with the use of technology, which negatively impacted when they slept. However, Others would contradict against this, as they were able to get back on track or would not be highly affected by the causes at all. Most was reported to have less than 5 hours of screen time per day, but what we should highlight is the fact that most would also spend their time on technology before bed. This might indicate that the only time they have to go on their technology is right before bed, when there are no distractions. This is meaning that the day is over, school is over, and work is over, so they have time to relax. For our concluded findings, there was a mixture of respondents who did well in school and a mixture of those who did not when it came to their sleeping habits. Some are able to function well despite their sleep schedule and habits, while some are not able to. Relationships weren't as highly affected as we had expected. Our respondents were open to fixing their sleep schedules, but we can also note that they might not be effective. Overall, our survey portrayed the many different ways of sleeping patterns could impact our ability to function throughout the day, with recurring themes, whether good or bad. Our challenges was not constant, however, we did find time to work together. While the survey had a total of 42 respondents, the majority of questions had 30 respondents. This is still a good amount for a sample group. However, had all 42 responded to every question, it would allow for more consistent data. One of our questions actually did not collect any data on Qualtrics. Originally, we created 20 survey questions, but the answer choices did not save for the one that we lost. The question was, what do you rate your performance in school as of currently? The data lost is unfortunate, because this would have been crucial for analyzing the relationship between amount of sleep and school performance. However, we still were able to gather some data on this point, because a lot of the respondents say that the reason for their bad sleeping habits was either they were focusing too much on schoolwork or they were waking up early for school. Some things that we learned from this is that we found that although the majority of our respondents receive the recommended amount of sleep, only 50% of them keep this consistent schedule. We also learned that there are many factors contributing to a poor sleep schedule, primarily work, school, and mental health. It can be concluded that common stressors keep the mind awake at night. Mental health was the leading factor for poor sleep habits. This indicates that when responsibilities and distractions for the day are concluded, mental health issues come to surface. This also indicates a larger connection between illnesses like anxiety and depression and sleep. Almost all of our respondents recorded that their electronic use or screen time is at its highest before bed. This is consistent with our original thoughts, concluding that blue light and screen time in general contributes to poor sleep quality. In terms of daily functionality in connection with sleep patterns, we found that it varies by person. There are many factors that can contribute to someone functioning well on little sleep, including personality, outside factors, amount of work, etc. And finally, our key takeaways. These include sleep schedules and habits are extremely individual, with not everyone reacting the same way with poor habits. However, respondents recorded similar reasons for sleep disruptions, allowing us to conclude that mental health, work, technology, and stress are the primary factors for poor sleep habits. Poor sleep does affect daily functions, but the effects vary by person. We found that when people are done with their daily responsibilities, screen time is used as a way to unwind before bed, but leads to sleeping complications among the majority of our respondents. We also concluded that there is no right way to improve sleep schedules and patterns because of how individualized it is. Some of our respondents are able to function well with poor sleep patterns, but others may need a more individualized plan to help combat these bad habits.